I want to talk to you about the importance of having beans in your diet. Beans are a great replacement, especially for those of you that love meat and it's a texture thing. Well, beans are high in protein. Beans are very low in cholesterol, high in fiber, lower in sodium. So I just happen to have a beautiful can of beans right here. And I want to point out, if we take a look at the back of the label, this is why it's really important. You can do beans from a can and still have the same nutritional value, or you can get raw beans and go through the whole entire process. But most people don't have time, so let's focus on beans from a can. So if you look at this, one serving has 100 calories, right? And then if you look here, 0 fat, we love that. Cholesterol, very low, 0 actually, as low as it gets. And then sodium is only 105 milligrams. If you look at the carbohydrates, there's 19 grams of carbohydrates, but look at the fiber, 6 grams of fiber. So total sugar is 1 gram, and look at your protein intake, 7 grams. This is really important, folks, because this is what can replace the meat when you're on a plant-based diet. And it will stick better to those ribs, you know, when you're eating, you process plants much quicker. But this is really, really an excellent substitute for meat. Again, very high in protein, high in fiber, you can't go wrong, and organic. We looked at this and it said 19 grams of carbs, right? So for those of you that are worried about your carb intake, let's talk about carbohydrates, because what 99.999% of my clients do not understand is the difference between carbohydrates. So when they've gone on diets in the past and they've been like, oh, you can't have carbs. Well, what they mean by that is simple carbs. So you have what's called complex carbs, which means it comes from the ground. And then you have your simple carbs, which is your pastries, cakes, refined, heavily processed, all of those types of foods. So when you look at carbohydrates in a complex carb, something that comes from the ground, okay, if it grows from the ground, it's a carbohydrate. So in your complex carbs, these are your good carbs. These are the carbs that your body needs. Your body absolutely 100% needs carbohydrates. So when you hear like keto diet and different diets where they're really restricting carbs, they're talking about your simple carbs, your sugars and your pastries and your refined and processed carbs.